Today we are looking at the waiver wire at 10 running backs that you could possibly add to your fantasy team. Some of these guys are stashes, some of these guys are upside plays, and some of these guys are just getting touches, and you're hoping that they score a touchdown here and there throughout the season. Nonetheless, we're going to look at these 10 running backs. Before we do, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. We're doing deep dives on these waiver wire prospects every day, and we're also helping you set those lineups, win those trades, and everything else. Let's dig into these players right now. And the first thing we're going to talk about here is Devin A Chain, because he blew up. He is the hot waiver wire get of the week. Played 41% of snaps last week, 22 touches, 233 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Blew up, monster game. Everybody's wondering about him. He's on a lot of rosters, but he's still in waivers in a lot of leagues as well. Should have been rostered. We've been telling you to roster him all offseason long. We've been telling you to draft him. He's a guy you need to hold as hard as you can, and he's going to be on the back end of your roster, back in your depth chart. You're going to be throwing him in the lineup here and there, see what happens, but he's going to be getting opportunity from here on out. Probably guaranteed, because he's explosive. They spent that draft capital on him. He blew up. Mo Sturt's getting an opportunity as well. Jeff Wilson's coming back here soon. This is going to be a fun running back depth chart to watch. But Devin A Chain is going to be in this offense, seeing a large role forever. Forever. Not just this year, next year, the year after. This is a forever player. This is a guy that at least is going to be an upside play on your depth chart, but could be a starter for you for the rest of the season. The upside's so grand that you got to take that shot on him. You got to blow some fab on him and see what happens, because you know what? When you look at the waiver wire, the running back position is ugly. It is ugly. There's not many guys waiting for you on the waiver wire that has that much upside if things break for them. So Devin A Chain is a guy that you need to be looking at pretty heavy this week. And now we're looking at another rookie running back here, Charbonnet. He has second-round draft capital from this year's class, and he's starting to get some opportunities, starting to get some workload. Ran on 45.2% of the snaps, 31.4% opportunity share, saw 2 targets in this game, ran 16 routes, and a 42.1% route participation rate. The thing about this is, we know Kenneth Walker's the guy, and a lot of people are going to chime in here in the comments and be like, yeah, Kenneth Walker though. The thing is, what if something happens to him? He's already had an injury this year in the offseason. He's already had things happen to him before, and this is an offense that wants to run the football. They want to use their running backs. That's why they drafted 2 running backs in this year's draft. That's why they spent a second-round pick on running backs back-to-back seasons, where that's not a trendy thing to do here in the NFL. They want to run the football. They want to use the running backs. Kenneth Walker's good. We love Kenneth Walker. He's explosive, has good athleticism, all the good traits. But Charbonnet here is only 3 games into his career. We're starting to see a little bit of a ramp up. The Carolina game was a different game script, though. You got to think about that. You want to look at him for the long term of the season, because injuries, bye weeks, all that stuff, starting to get workload. That might increase throughout the year. He is a rookie running back. Rookie running backs with draft capital tend to pop off randomly throughout the year. So Charbonnet is like a high-end stash right now. Might be rostered in a lot of leagues that you're in, but he's also in waivers in a lot of leagues as well. He's a guy to be looking at. A lot of people are chirping him up this week as well. Next, we are looking at Taja Spears. We talk about him every week. He keeps getting workload. He keeps seeing snaps. Just haven't really put together yet. He hasn't blew up. But that's going to happen if he keeps seeing a lot of workload. He keeps seeing a good amount of snaps. If something happens to Derrick Henry, though, everybody's going to be going after Taja Spears. The backup last year on the Titans, we were looking at a lot as a stash as well, just in case something happened to Derrick Henry, because so much workload goes to the running backs in this offense that really you put somebody in there, even if they give you ho-hum efficiency, they'll at least give you something to run back with. And Taja Spears is explosive, catches the ball in the backfield. Look at the tape from Tulane. Watch that USC game. Dude can catch the ball in the backfield. He's a very good route runner. We saw that at the Senior Bowl, and he's already mixing in here with the ones. So imagine down the line, he gets more opportunity, pay attention to Taja Spears. Next, Rashawn Johnson. We've been talking about him all season long. The thing about this is the Bears are very scary. The Bears are very scary, and we all know why. He's still getting opportunity. He still has some good size, adjusted athleticism. Still has some good pop off the step here. We got to see when this is going to happen. But if you're looking for a flyer at the end of your bench, he is getting some touches early in his career right now. We're only 3 games into his career. Khalil Herbert's still getting a lot of touches. Something happens to him, it's going to be wheels up for Rashawn Johnson as he's going to see more opportunity. We might see him get more opportunity by default as we get further into the season, because this Bears team, they're going to see what they have in their young guys. Rashawn Johnson, young guy, rookie, they might see what's up with him. And we got some game scripts coming up that might break in his favor. So we're going to have to pay attention to Rashawn Johnson. He's also being used in the passing game to some degree, even though there's not much of a passing game here. So a guy you need to pay attention to. Next, Matt Breida. And I'm not excited about this, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And some of these running backs, you're just wanting touches, you're just wanting workload, and then you just cross them fingers. You pray that they cross the goal line. 82% snap share, 50% opportunity share, 10.8 PPR points. He crossed the goal line. He did what he needed to do to help you out. You're not expecting him to score 30 fantasy points. He does not have that upside. He does not have the upside of some of these young rookie running backs who were drafted second or third round of this year's draft. He does not have that in him. He does have a little bit of speed, a little bit of burst to his game. He is a little bit explosive. He does have some pop in the step. He's not a top-tier guy when it comes to traits, or does not have the upside to some of those younger guys. But if given enough opportunity, given enough touches, things go his way. If he can cross the goal line, catch a few balls, he might give you a game. We know the downside is likely as well, because he's not a top-tier back. The offense is wonky. They might start splitting up the touches if they want to see what some of the other younger running backs have in them. But Matt Breida right now is getting touches, and sometimes that's just all you need. If you want touches, Jalen Warren's getting opportunity here. Ran 14 routes this Sunday, 46.7% route participation rate. Pretty good for a running back in a committee role, sharing the backfield, 1B, backup running back, whatever you want to call him. But that's a good amount of routes for a running back sharing the backfield. 45.2% of the snaps he had, 4 targets, 14.8% target share. Pretty solid there. And he looks explosive. He's running well. And the thing about him is something happens to Najee Harris, people are going to be clamoring for him, and you're going to want him on your roster. He's one of the top handcuffed committee backs, whatever you want to call him, in the league. Due to that, people have been eyeing him. People have been talking him up as a waiver wire get throughout the season as a guy you should be stashing at the back end of your bench. And if you need a running back who's kind of safe at the end of your bench that you want to stash, that could give you some upside, Jalen Warren could be it. Next, Tyler Algier, and we're going deep here. I don't really like Algier that much. I don't really like him right now due to the situation. It's the Bijan Robinson show. But what happens if that show breaks? What if he gets injured? What if something happens to him? He's going to walk into an opportunity where he's on a team that runs the ball more than they should, and they want to use the running back heavily. He ran for 1,000 yards last year, and also he's in situations where he could cross the goal line on any given week. If you're hurting at running back and you need some touches, he's getting about 10 or so a game, 9 last week, broken game scripts. But again, a running back here at the end of your roster, that is something happens to Bijan Robinson, could do something for you. Is he grandioso? No. But we're looking at the waiver wire here going into week 4, and we don't have a ton to work with right now. Next is the Ravens running backs. You kind of want to put their names in a hat and just pluck them out, really. Gus Edwards getting a little bit of run. We had some Melvin Gordon action last week. Justice Hill was out due to a toe injury. Justice Hill the week prior got the workload. Gus Edwards scored the fantasy points. A conundrum of running backs. But we know this team could allow the running back position to produce in fantasy. So something you want to keep an eye on. So if you need a running back, you want to gamble on one, you may want to close your eyes and pick a running back. Justice Hill, the most explosive. Gus Edwards, the incumbent veteran. And then Melvin Gordon's Melvin Gordon, and he's got some opportunity last week. 11 touches, Gus Edwards 12. Justice Hill out. The week prior, Justice Hill got all the touches, and Gus Edwards got a little bit of work and scored most of the fantasy points. Next, we are looking at Kendra Miller. We're looking at him as a stash, not an instant producer. Alvin Kamara's coming back soon. Jamal Williams will eventually be back. We're looking at him as a guy that could hit on us mid to end of the season. That's what we're looking at here. He's explosive, can run between the tackles, and he's coming back from an injury from the end of his collegiate career, and then we're coming into the offseason where he was showing some things. We got a slow start. Started the season off slow due to injury. Now we're back. We had our first game last week. Wasn't crazy or anything. Weird game script, quarterback out, all that stuff. But it's the Alvin Kamara show here. We all know that. Jamal Williams is going to get touches. Kendra Miller is more suited for next year or so. But again, you don't know when these rookie running backs are going to hit. No one came out and said Devin A Chain was going to score 50 points last week. No one came out and said that. A lot of people were in the comments over these last few weeks saying, hey, Bruce, I'm hurting. Can I drop him? Can I drop him? Can I drop him? I drafted him. Can I drop him? And then he blows up. That's what happens with these rookie running backs. Some of them don't. Some of them do. Some of them hit the next year. But if you got room to stash, you want a lottery ticket somewhere. And that's all I'm trying to say. Joshua Kelly, that's why he's last on the list, because he is Joshua Kelly. We're not in love with him. But there's nothing on waivers, unless you want to say like Ezekiel Elliott or somebody like that. Anybody who's getting touches right now in this range, you can look at. Joshua Kelly still has a 72.7% snap share, 85.7% opportunity share. The game script ran past funnel, though. Keenan Allen got a ton of targets. Mike Williams got a ton of targets. They just dropped back and kept throwing it and throwing it and throwing it. The run game was dead in this game. And the run game was dead the game prior as it was against the Titans. Joshua Kelly popped off in week 1 against the Dolphins. Eckler is coming back, though. I don't look at him as a stash. I don't look at him as much upside. I do like this offense, though. I do think this offense gives opportunity, but the game script has to be there. Everything has to be right. And if you want touches, okay. More than likely, he's okay on the waiver wire as well. Again, these are not always endorsements, but guys that you could possibly get. So I understand what you're thinking with Joshua Kelly, but those are 10 running backs that you can look at off the waiver wire. There are possibly more. I mentioned more than 10 actually in this video. There's a lot more than that because anybody who's getting touches can get some opportunity to score your fantasy points. And with it being so shallow this week, you can pretty much look at matchups, touches, and see what happens with some of these running backs. Close your eyes and hope your gamble hits. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Catch you on the next video.